They say that evil doesn't always come dressed in rags. Sometimes evil wears bright colors. It sings nursery rhymes and smiles at your child and calls itself a safe place. This is the story of the evil daycare. The story that every Nigerian parent, every guardian, every young mother and father needs to hear. Because what happened to the Okonkwo family could happen to anyone. Ada Okonkwo had waited 5 years for this promotion. 5 years of giving up sleep, skipping family gatherings, battling Lagos traffic to meet deadlines, just to climb one more step on the corporate ladder. So when HR called her into that glass-walled office at 8:15 on a rainy Monday morning, she was ready. They smiled at her, they congratulated her, and with that one signature on the dotted line, she became a senior project manager at one of the biggest firms on the island. There was just one problem: her son, Duni, 3 years old, full of energy, full of questions, and now in desperate need of full-time daycare. For the past year, Ada's mother had been helping out, but last month, Mama fell ill and had to return to the village. Tunde, Ada's husband, worked long, unpredictable hours as an engineer on the site. There was no way he could stay home. Ada had to resume work in less than 2 weeks. No family, no nanny, no plan. And so the daycare search began. If there's one thing Lagos is full of, it is daycares. Some in bungalows, some squeezed into rented flats, some that looked like glorified prison cells with alphabet stickers on the wall. Ada told 5 in 1 week. None felt right. Then, just when she was about to give up, her neighbor Mrs. Shalewa mentioned a new place, Bright Steps Daycare, she said, on Emmanuel Street, just off the main road. They are very neat, Mrs. Shalewa assured her, and the woman in charge, Madame Onome, she's so warm, like a mother to all the children. Ada's ears perked. So one Thursday afternoon, Ada walked into Bright Steps Daycare, and just like that, her worries disappeared. The walls were painted yellow and blue, with cartoon characters smiling from every corner. The air smelled of baby powder and Dettol. Soft nursery rhymes played on a small speaker. Madame Onome welcomed her with open arms. A round, cheerful woman with braided hair, gold-rimmed glasses, and a voice that hummed like honey. She spoke slowly, with care, like someone who understood children. Ada noticed the other kids. Some were laughing, playing, and some others were coloring. Everything looked perfect, too perfect. But Ada, like many mothers in her position, needed a solution fast. So Duni was enrolled, starting the next Monday. The first week went smoothly. Duni loved it. Every afternoon when Ada came to pick him up, he ran to her with paint on his fingers and stories about Auntie Blessing and Uncle Monday, the daycare staff. But by the second week, something changed. It started small. One night, Duni woke up screaming, night terror. He pointed at the corner of the room, sobbing, saying there was a woman there. But when Ada switched on the light, she saw nothing. She chalked it up to bad dreams. But then, Duni's language started changing. He began muttering strange phrases, words that sounded off, like a dialect Ada couldn't place. She asked him, "Where did you hear that?" And he smiled. "Mma taught me." Ada frowned. "Mma? Who is Mma?" Duni said, "My friend at the daycare." Strange. There was no Umma on the staff list. By the third week, things escalated. Ada noticed bruises on Duni's arms and back. Small, circular, almost like finger marks. When she confronted Madame Odome, the woman laughed softly. "Oh no, Mama Duni. You know how children play rough. Boys will always be boys. He fell near the jungle gym." Ada wasn't convinced, but she did not want to overreact. Until the following Sunday. That morning, while she was dressing him up for church, Ada noticed something chilling right there on Duni's back, carved faintly into his skin with small sharp lines was a word. 3 letters, MMA. Ada's heart froze. This wasn't play. This wasn't accidental. Something was very wrong. The next day, Ada decided to arrive early for pickup unannounced. She parked down the road, walked quietly to the gate, and listened. From inside, she heard singing. Not nursery rhymes, not cartoons, but low rhythmic chant-like singing. Her heart pounded. She pushed the gates open. Children were lined up in a small room near the back, eyes half closed, swaying side to side. At the center stood Madame Onome, holding a bowl, muttering words Ada did not understand. And Duni, her son, was standing at the front, eyes glazed, whispering, "Mma Obo, Mma Obo, Mma Obo." Ada's scream broke the trance. The children scattered. Madame Onome turned, and for the first time, Ada saw something cold and dark flash across her face. Gone was the sweet, smiling daycare owner. For one split second, her eyes turned black. Ada pulled Aduni out immediately. Tunde didn't believe her at first. "This is Lagos," he said. "Who does rituals in daycares?" But Ada knew what she saw. So, she bought a small spy camera, sewed it into Duni's backpack. The next morning, she dropped him off like normal. But all day, she sat at home, watching the live feed on her phone. For hours, nothing happened. Just kids playing, laughing, drawing. But then around 2:14 p.m., the nap time started. That's when she saw it. A teacher led the children into the nap room. But instead of sleeping, they sat in a circle on the floor. A dark red cloth was spread out. A small idol placed in the center. Madame Onome entered dressing in white, barefoot, holding a jar. One by one, she marked each child's forehead with something red. And when she got to Duni, Ada saw him flinch. Then the video glitched. Lines ran across the screen, static, then darkness. For full 5 minutes, the feed went dead. When it returned, the children were lying on the floor, still, silent like dolls. That night, as Ada reviewed the saved footage, frame by frame, she caught something else just before the video cut out. Duni, her 3-year-old son, looked straight into the camera with eyes wide and unblinking and began to chant, "Mma Obo, Mma Obo, Mma Obo," over and over. His voice deeper than normal, too deep for a child. And as he chanted, a dark shadow, low, crawling, began moving towards the camera lens. Then, black. Ada dropped the phone. Her hands shook. This wasn't normal. The next morning, Madame Onome appeared at their front door, smiling, holding a basket of fruit. "Good morning, Mama Doni. I just came to check on my little boy." Tunde was the one who opened the door and stayed hidden behind the curtains. But she watched and heard as Onome's voice dropped low, almost like a growl, as she leaned close to Tunde. Tell your wife to stop digging before she unearths something she cannot bury. And with that, she walked away. That night, Duni did not sleep. He stood by the bedroom window, staring into the dark streets below. His tiny hand kept drawing circles on the window pane over and over. And at exactly 3:07 a.m., he turned to Ada and Tunde, smiled and said, "She's coming." Then he lay on the floor, closed his eyes, and slept. By now, Ada had stopped caring about being polite. She knocked on doors. She called numbers. She found two other mothers whose children had attended Bright Steps Daycare months earlier. One had relocated suddenly. The other cried on the phone. "My son changed," the woman said. "He stopped eating, stopped speaking. One day we found him standing in the backyard at night, saying he was waiting for Umma to come and take him." Ada asked, "Who is Umma?" The woman's voice dropped. "Ask Onome if she ever returned the children she took." Ada knew she had to catch them in the act. She bought a better camera with night vision. She called her pastor. Tunde was still skeptical, but agreed to let the pastor pray over the house. That night, they placed the camera in Duni's room and waited. At exactly 2:59 a.m., the temperature dropped. The camera caught it. The room got foggy and cold. And then the closet door opened by itself. Out crawled a figure, small, pale, childlike, but the face wasn't human. It was long, stretched, eyeless. The figure crawled over Duni's bed, leaning close to his ear, and whispered, "Tomorrow, bring her." Then it vanished. Ada screamed. Tunde, now fully terrified, agreed they had to stop this. Tomorrow they were going back to Bright Steps for answers, for Duni, and for every child who had walked into that daycare and never came out the same. If your heart is already racing, if you're already asking what was inside that daycare, what happens next, then don't go anywhere, because this is just the part one of the story. In part two, where Ada and Tunde confronted the daycare and discovered secrets buried deeper than anyone imagined. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Turn on notifications. Share this story with every parent you know, because what is coming next is darker and deadlier. What is the life lessons woven into the part one of this story? Lesson number one: don't blindly trust appearances. Not every smiling giver has good intentions. Lesson number two: listen to your child. Nightmares, strange behaviors, and sudden fears are warning signs. Lesson number three: do your background checks. Investigate where you leave your children. Lesson number four: spiritual vigilance matters. There is more to life than the physical eyes can see. And the final lesson: technology can save lives. Small hidden camera could reveal what words cannot. If you want to know what the camera really saw, if you want to follow Ada's journey in the heart of the evil daycare, then subscribe now. And before you go, drop a comment. I will protect my child, because this could happen to anyone. This is Whispers of Uche, where every whisper is a window to the unseen. Until the next whisper, stay awake and stay listening.